Now, what I want to look at, first of all, is the media. When people say the media is the problem, they're right about most things. If you look, all of the research that we have indicates that media violence has increased in quantity, but it's also more graphic, more sexual, and more sadistic. This is the khutawat al-shaytan. If you watch films from the 1940s, the 1930s, the 1950s, you can see it's slow. This is how shaitan gets people. يَسْتَدْرِجُهُمْ. He pulls them step by step. These are his khutawat. You start watching films, they've introduced violence. In my country, one of the landmark films was a film called Bonnie and Clyde with, what's his name? See, people know, Warren Beatty. Yeah. There's a hadith that in the end of time, the shayateen will take forms, and they'll tell you fictional stories, and you'll say, I can see his face, but I don't know his name. It's in Sahih al-Bukhari. And there's a website of actors. The website is called, You Know Their Faces, but Can't Remember Their Names. That's a hadith. It's amazing. Sadaqa Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So that film was a major change in America in cinematography, because before that, graphic violence was not permitted. But this film showed blood, gore. Now that film looks tame compared to what they have out. These are the khutawat of shaitan. And shaitan wants violence and sex are his two, these are, because they're very powerful for the human psyche. And these are the two ways that he can really corrupt the heart. This is from the United States, so I'm using statistics from the US, but it's all coming to you, unfortunately. So 80% of R-rated movies, right? 70% of restricted video games, and 100% of music with explicit content, warning labels, were being marketed to children under 17. So they know what they're doing. These are the minions of shaitan, whether they're conscious of it or not. وَلَكِنَّهُمْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. They're unconscious. If you say, لَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ قَالُوا إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ مُصْلِحُونَ. We believe in freedom of speech. We believe in artistic expression. We're not sowing corruption. No, they're the corruptors. أَلَا إِنَّهُمْ هُمُ الْمُفْسِدُونَ. But they're unaware. So many of them are literally minions. By the time the average child in the United States is 18 years old, they will have seen 200,000 acts of violence and 16,000 murders. What do you think this is doing to the psyche? Why do you think America is such a violent country? Seriously, there are other reasons. This is one of the reasons. We have a history of violence in the United States. But our children have been programmed to be violent. Media violence is especially damaging to young children under 8 because they cannot easily tell the difference between real life and fantasy. The American Pediatric Association warns that children should not see any television now. This is a protocol from a few years back. They shouldn't see any television before the age of 3 because of the effects they know that it has. That was actually a compromise because the evidence shows that they really shouldn't be seeing any in television while their brains are developing. But these are compromises because the television industry is so powerful. And if you don't think industry has an effect on medicine, just look at the food pyramid. Because the food pyramid in the United States was changed because of the dairy and meat lobbies. Because they warned people about dairy and meat. So they got it changed. So industry, medicine is in service of industry. It's not medicine in service of humanity. It serves industry. They know, Scientific America proved that television is a low-grade addiction. People become addicted to television. It's like tea, you know. I mean, I always say, what's the problem with tea? I don't feel addicted. I've given it up so many times, right? So those low-grade addictions are real. Tea is a low-grade addiction, but as an inveterate tea drinker, I can tell you it is very hard to give up tea. I was corrupted by the English because I lived in England, and every day they would have tea. I started having tea. Before I knew it, I go back to America where they don't drink tea, they drink coffee, but I wanted tea, right? I have Irish roots. The English, you know about the English. Malaysia knows. You know, they say monkeys know how to speak, the orangutan. They say that they can speak. Like the orangutan, they speak Malay in the jungle, but they knew that if they spoke, the English would put them to work. So they just pretend not to. So, TV and film. You have so much children's violence. This is a cartoon for children. You know, this is traumatic for kids. Trust me. I have a person I know who was a child psychiatrist, and he told me he had so many children that had Disney film trauma. Every single Disney film has a dead mother or a mother who dies in the film. Why do they do that? It's traumatic. They know what they're doing. Disney is an evil empire. And this is not a joke. Disney is an evil empire. And why does Disney spread this global message out to turn little girls into princesses? We don't want, all you need is one princess in a country. Or maybe, okay, you have 9 sultanates, so you have to have more. But you don't want a lot of princesses in a country. You want women that will serve, that will work, that will do things. They don't expect everybody to do it for them. And I know the sultanas here serve and do things. That's true. But the Disney princess is served. And all the children are little warriors. So they have this violent attitude in their film. I mean, look at this. You know, it's just unbelievable. Do I have sound? I put it up. Where's the sound? Okay,
hello, Earth. So good to see you. Seeing me. We know you find TV irresistible. And Hulu. Yeah. Now follow me. Below the curtain. To the Hulubratory, where we make the irresistible irresistibler.
They killed Kenny!
You are correct, sir. And our latest silver bullet, Hulu Plus. Full seasons and full series runs of your favorite shows in your new favorite place. Everywhere. You see, this is your brain on TV. This is your brain on Hulu. So close. And this is your brain on Hulu Plus. And this is your brain with a little sprig of mint. Hulu Plus.
That's hot.
An eviler plot to destroy the world. Enjoy.
You know, people think that's a joke. Trust me, that is no joke. That's Iblis. I mean, the thing about Iblis, he has fun. He really enjoys this show. He enjoys making fun of us, just laughing at us. What are you going to do, give up TV? That's what he says in one of those ads. It's not a joke. 2 out of 3 Hollywood films released in 2001 were rated R. And I'll tell you something about R rating today. Khutawat al-Shaitan. In the 1960s, these films would have been rated X. But this is the khutawat. People have become used to the violence and the sex. And so films that would have gotten an X rating in the 1960s are now rated R. And now PG-13 is what used to have an R rating. This is the average time spent watching television, 5.11 hours in the United States, every day. Black Americans, more than 7 hours a day. White, 5. Hispanic, 4.35 because they're out working, right? And then the Asians, 3.14 because their tiger moms won't let them watch TV. 99% of households that possess at least one TV. My wife can testify this. I once got a call by one of these people doing a survey, and he said, how many TVs do you have in the house? And I said, I don't have any. He said, come on. I said, I don't have any. He said, none? I said, I don't have a TV. And then he said, you know, I've been doing this for a long time. I've never, ever had a call where they didn't have a TV. So that was kind of a 2.4 TV sets in the average U.S. household, right? Because some have 5, some have 1 in every room. 56% of Americans who pay for cable TV, 49% say they watch too much TV. Amazing. 34 hours per week over the age of 2 spent in front of a TV. 24 hours per week, 2 to 11 spent watching TV. 54% of 4 to 6-year-olds who, when asked to choose between watching TV and spending time with their fathers, preferred television. Average American youth, 900 hours in school, 1,200 hours watching TV. Right? By the time they get out of high school. It's amazing. And then they wonder why our countries become, you know, I mean, we don't, in none of the indices we lead anymore, right? The U.S. We already saw this, 200,000. 16,000 number of 30-second TV commercials seen in a year. And you know what they call these? Now an important message from our sponsor. Message in Arabic is risala. This is the real reason they want you to buy and consume their goods, because it's a consumer civilization. Cartoons are very serious. This cartoon was done, it's for adults. The man that does this cartoon, literally, he's an atheist, doesn't believe in anything, makes fun of everything, cynicism, everything's a joke. Kids watch this show. It's a very sophisticated show. This is all about ghosts and demons and the occult. The Scooby-Doo has all these occult themes in it. And then you've got, here's the father of the family, right, Homer Simpson. And there's his relationship with his kid, right? The level of violence during Saturday morning cartoons is higher than the level of violence during prime time. You've got all these cartoons here now, and your kids are growing up on this crap. And you really have to think seriously, garbage in, garbage out. You have to think seriously about what's being done to your children's minds if you're letting them watch TV. There are 3 to 5 violent acts per hour in prime time versus 20 to 25 acts of violence on Saturday morning. Children imitate what they see. If you put a kung fu film and you put a bunch of 8-year-olds and they watch a kung fu film, by the time the film's done, they're all kicking each other. Right? It's a simple fact of life.